What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Jetski G back with another banger. And on today's upload, we're actually going to talk about why everybody looks at Kendrick Lamar as the boogeyman and why everyone is scared to say his name. Now, on today's reaction, we actually got to go over to my man Viral Depth's channel. So make sure y'all drop a like, a hype, and a comment for what y'all think about this video. So let's go over to my man channel. Let's get it. Let's go. I'll meet y'all over there. Let's go, y'all.
Battlefield. But every now and then, someone steps onto that field who doesn't play by the rules. Someone who doesn't chase attention, but commands it. And for more than a decade, that person has been Kendrick Lamar. He barely posts. He rarely speaks. He drops music once every few years. Yet when Kendrick moves, the entire rap world freezes. So the question is simple. Why are rappers so scared of Kendrick Lamar? Because this isn't just about respect. It's about fear. The kind of fear that happens when someone's talent, intelligence, and discipline expose everything fake about you. This is the story of how Kendrick Lamar became the most feared man in rap.
Rap against Kendrick ever. Yeah. You didn't sit home with the fucking BlackBerry or the bum composition book and write acronyms for your own fucking name.
Before the world knew him as Kendrick Lamar, he was just a quiet kid from Compton named K. Dot. In the late 2000s, the rap game was all about flash, Wayne, Drake, early trap, club hits, and social media bravado. Lyrical rappers were fading out. But Kendrick wasn't trying to be the loudest, he was trying to be the truest. When he dropped Overly Dedicated and Section 80, the world didn't hear just another rapper. They heard a young poet sharpening his blade. He rapped about addiction, violence, and temptation with a preacher's precision, delivering verses that felt like sermons from the streets. He wasn't talking about fame, he was talking about faith. While most rappers were building their brand, Kendrick was building his purpose.
This is Kendrick Lamar verse only. We just want to hear K-Dot.
And the fact that they got Kendrick verse only in the title, you know you had to go crazy on this verse, bro.
Kendrick, let's see what you do to piss these brothers off.
Then came 2012, the year that changed everything. Good Kid, May Aid City wasn't just an album. It was a cinematic autobiography, a journey through the chaos of Compton told from the mind of a survivor. The storytelling, the production, the themes, it was too good, too complete. Kendrick had achieved what seemed impossible at the time: lyrical excellence and commercial success in one project. That's when other rappers began to realize something dangerous. This wasn't another conscious rapper. This was someone who could out-rap you, out-think you, and outlast you. That's when respect started to blur into fear.
Kendrick Lamar was the best rapper, and he invited him to the studio to get him on a song, and he arrived, and Kendrick came with all his mates. And Eminem said, I just want you in the studio, just you on your own. And then my engineer's going to come in and then record you doing it, but your mates aren't allowed in. And then Kendrick did it, wrote a sick verse, and then everyone came in to listen to it. And Eminem said he did it to test Kendrick because he thought he had a ghostwriter, and he then realized that he didn't, and then claimed that he was the best.
Then came Control. August 13th, 2013, a day hip-hop will never forget. Kendrick's verse on Big Sean's Control wasn't just a feature, it was an earthquake. There was no hook, no gimmicks, just lyrical warfare. He called out Drake, J. Cole, A$AP Rocky, Meek Mill, and more, not to diss them, but to challenge them. I'm trying to murder you knockicks, he said, and he meant lyrically. That verse flipped the entire industry upside down. Rappers who were coasting suddenly found themselves scrambling for a response. Social media exploded. Every outlet dissected his words. Some rappers fired back, others laughed it off, but deep down, they all knew the same thing. Kendrick had reminded the world that hip-hop was supposed to be about competition. And he had done it without a single wasted word. Calm, focused, surgical. It wasn't an attack, it was a declaration of dominance. That day, Kendrick Lamar became the measuring stick. After Control, everyone expected chaos. They expected beef, diss tracks, and headline wars. But Kendrick didn't feed into that. He disappeared into the studio. 2 years later, he emerged with To Pimp a Butterfly, one of the most complex, artistic, and politically charged albums in hip-hop history. Jazz, funk, poetry, pain, and power, all woven together. It wasn't made for radio, it was made for history. The project made rappers rethink what an album could be. Kendrick wasn't just spitting bars, he was building a legacy. Critics called him different, but different was really just code for untouchable. How do you compete with someone whose verses are studied in universities? Even Drake, who had dominated the charts, avoided going directly at him. Because Kendrick doesn't play the social media game. He doesn't post subliminals or chase likes. He moves in silence, and when he finally strikes, it's fatal. That's when the fear evolved. It wasn't fear of battle, it was fear of exposure. Kendrick made other rappers uncomfortable because he reminded them of what hip-hop was supposed to be. Truth, not trend. Then came Damn. In 2017, the album that sealed his place as not just an artist, but a cultural prophet. He won a Pulitzer Prize for it, something no rapper had ever done. Kendrick had officially transcended the genre, and yet he didn't gloat. He got quieter. He started moving like a myth. Long silences, rare interviews, no public drama. And that silence became his new form of power. Because in a world addicted to attention, Kendrick's absence made him more famous. While other rappers fought for relevance, Kendrick's mystery created anticipation. When he finally reappeared, every headline revolved around him. That's not just fame, that's control. His silence wasn't avoidance, it was strategy. He had weaponized patience. By 2021, with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Kendrick had entered his philosopher era. He wasn't just rapping for fans anymore, he was talking to humanity. While the industry obsessed over TikTok hits and streams, Kendrick made an album about healing, family, trauma, and growth. It wasn't trendy, it was timeless. And yet, the fear around his name still lingered. Today, rappers don't want smoke with Kendrick. Not because they can't rap, but because they can't win. How do you compete with someone who's not even playing the same game? When Kendrick drops, the internet resets. Every conversation shifts. The biggest names in rap start moving differently. Even the new generation, artists like JID, Baby Keem, and Cordae, treat him with reverence, not rivalry. Because competing with Kendrick isn't about skill anymore, it's about legacy. Kendrick raps for purpose, not profit. And that's terrifying to an industry that thrives on ego. You can't defeat someone who doesn't care about fame. In a world where everyone's shouting, Kendrick whispers, and somehow his voice echoes louder than anyone's. That's why even in his silence, he dominates. He doesn't have to prove he's the best. The rest of the game does it for him every time they mention his name. So are rappers really scared of Kendrick Lamar? Absolutely, but not in the way people think. They're not scared of being dissed. They're scared of being exposed. Because when Kendrick drops, clout rap starts.
At this big point, bro, they scared of being dissed. They scared of just going bar for him. But not only that, he's actually built up a nice fortress also. Like, to go at Kendrick, we seen this with the kid from New York. Joey Badass. To go at Kendrick, not only do you got to get you got to get the Kendrick first. You're going to have to go through the lower tier rappers underneath Kendrick on the West Coast first. You get what I'm saying? You're going to have to get through all them just to get to Kendrick. He can deploy them before you even get to Kendrick's fortress. You're going to have to go through them. And I don't think you're getting through them nowadays, because this is what happened with Drake. Drake didn't have, like, instead of, the way Kendrick is putting his guys on, Drake would just steal all his guys' songs, and he didn't have rappers underneath him. So when you wanted to go at Drake, you can go directly at him. Everybody could go directly at Drake. And to Drake's good on Drake, he was actually able to withstand most of the shots people took directly at him for 10 plus years. I think Kendrick's run can actually potentially be a lot longer, because you're gonna have to have like a whole crew of people to knock Kendrick off at this point. Like, not only do you got to go through Kendrick, you got to go through Kendrick's crew, and they backing him, they making sure he stays in position as king of hip hop, and that's a beautiful thing to see. Let's keep going, y'all.
Sounding empty again. He resets the genre to its roots. Suddenly, everyone's reminded that real artistry still matters. That's the true source of fear. Every verse, every album, every moment he speaks, it raises the standard. Even legends like Eminem, Nas, and Jay-Z have praised him as one of the greatest to ever do it. That kind of respect doesn't come from hype. It comes from dominance. The kind that's quiet, humble, and unshakable. Now, as whispers build around Kendrick's mysterious new project, the rumored GNX album, that fear is returning all over again. Some say it's his boldest move yet. Others believe it's his farewell or a message to the entire industry. Whatever it is, one thing's for certain. When Kendrick Lamar speaks again, hip-hop will listen. Because his words don't just entertain, they redefine. Kendrick doesn't follow the game, he is the game. In a world full of rappers trying to become legends, Kendrick Lamar already is one. His silence is power, his words are legacy, and his presence, a reminder that true greatness doesn't shout, it echoes. So the next time someone asks why rappers are scared of Kendrick Lamar, the answer is simple, because he represents everything they're afraid they'll never become.
Let me vibe with y'all for a minute. And shout out, bro, on Viral Depth. What is it? Viral Depth? Yeah, Viral Depth. That was fire. Let me vibe with y'all. And also at the beginning, he said MAD City is good kid, mad city. But yeah, this was a good breakdown, and this is a lot of the reasons why a lot of people won't go at Kendrick, and for a lot of the reasons that I said also. At first, it was just about this dude is a lyrical savant. You get what I'm saying? Now he's going from a savant, and now he's just a lyrical genius. You get what I'm saying? He's ascended from a West Coast, I would say a West Coast MC to a West Coast lyricist to a West Coast savant. Now he's reached that West Coast legendary West Coast god tier. You get what I'm saying? Now he's up there, in my opinion, with your West Coast guys like Snoop Dogg. He's on the path. Yeah, he's on that path, that Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Tupac path, where it's like you're just like a god of the West Coast as far as the MCing goes, which is a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing for hip hop because we need lyricism back. I'm done with all the she make a booty clap music. You know what I'm saying? All the shout out, and there's nothing wrong with the with what Atlanta brought to the hip hop. They brought the origin of what Atlanta brought. They brought happiness and dancing back to hip hop. But I think with Chicago, Atlanta started Dickie and Chicago too much, and they wanted to be the shooters. You get what I'm saying? When Atlanta really could have just kept the dancing fun scene and did their thing and stayed together. But now it's a bunch of infighting, much like it was in Chicago, and it messed the whole scene up because they wanted to dick eat off Chicago. Respectfully, it's the truth. I ain't trying to be mean, but it is the truth. So yeah, and they was making like the booty clap shooter Joan, like it's young thug, homo thug music, which is whatever. You get what I'm saying? So I'm actually happy that Kendrick is now here. The real lyricists are back. And lyricists can make dope music also. You don't have to. Also, people hear lyricists and think you got to be like this super conscious rapper. You don't have to be. Kendrick is, yes, more conscious, but you don't have to be a super conscious rapper. It's a lot of lyrical rappers that aren't super conscious. I'll take you through a trip through Philadelphia. I can give you the most lyrical rappers on this earth. And I'm talking about West Coast, down South, and the East Coast. Right there in Philadelphia. All of them lyrical as, and they right there on the street and will rip your favorite artist that's signed head off. They all lyrical. It ain't nothing. You don't have to be super conscious. Lyrical rappers just need to have their shine and have at least some hope in the game. Because right now it's all, if you ain't got a melody and you can't make booty clapping music, it's like you ain't got no way. All right, so it's your boy Jetski G. Make sure y'all drop a like, a hype, and a comment. Let me know what y'all think about this. Is Kendrick the most feared rapper in the game? Y'all know my opinion. Drop it in the comments. We can debate about it. Also, I'm going to drop 2 more bangers for y'all. One right here, one right here. Both of them bangers. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. I'm out, y'all.